In this lesson, you will learn how to use a centimeter cube to measure length. Measurement is finding a number that shows the size or amount of something. You can measure how long things are, or how tall, or how far apart they are. Those are all examples of length measurements. Length is how long something is, or the distance from one end to the other. A centimeter is a metric unit for length.
Hey, second grade. Today we're going to be learning a little bit about measurement. And I was walking around the other day and I saw this Kleenex box and I wondered to myself, how long is this thing? I know, funny question to ask yourself, but if I were to try to estimate or to measure this, I would want to know how to do that. So today what we're going to use is something called a centimeter cube. And it's called a centimeter cube because it is 1 centimeter long. And we're going to use these cubes today to measure a couple objects. And the first object that I want to measure is this Kleenex box. So I'm going to set this Kleenex box down right here. I want you to count with me as I measure this using my centimeter cube. I want to hear you, so count loud. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, ooh, I think I put one more in there, 16 centimeter cubes. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 centimeter cubes. I'm going to put that number right down here. 15 centimeter cubes. But I want you to take a really good look at this right now. Do you see anything wrong with the way that I measured this? Yeah, that's right. I have all of these extra spaces in here that I need to push together. Now the reason why I want to do that, because look when I push these together, look at all this extra space that I didn't measure. You need to make sure that when you're measuring that you line it up and all of your cubes are touching right next to each other. Now I get to fill in all this other space over here and try to figure out how many more cubes I need to add. So we're at 15. Let's keep going. We still have all this to measure. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 cubes. This Kleenex box is 19 centimeter cubes long. This Kleenex box is about 19 centimeter cubes long.
Let's measure something else.
Okay, so I was a little bored with that Kleenex box, and I thought, why don't we get something a little bit more exciting in here? So, Miss Radusky in her magical candy box had a little Sour Patch Twizzler here, and I want to know about how long is this piece of candy. And like we did before, we want to use our centimeter cubes, and we're going to measure this using this type of tool. So, like I said before, you must start at the very edge of your Twizzler, because with the Kleenex box we had a lot of extra space and we don't want that when we're measuring. So I'm going to start at the very tip of my Twizzler right here, and we're going to count together to see about how many centimeter cubes this piece of candy is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have a little bit of that extra space left over. So if I add 1, that's going to be too many, because that's off the edge of that Twizzler right there. So I'm just going to leave it and say this Twizzler is about 6 centimeter cubes long. Okay, so now that you've helped me measure those objects that we did earlier, we were lucky enough to have all of those centimeter cubes to work with when we were measuring those items. But I'm going to show you another strategy if you do not have all of those centimeter cubes to help you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this poster right here, and I wonder about how many centimeter cubes this Post-it is. So I'm going to show you, if you have 1 centimeter cube, how you can measure the length of this Post-it. So what you want to do is, just like the other items, we start at the very edge of our object. Make sure that you start at the very edge, no space left, so that you can get the best measurement possible. So I'm going to, with my finger, hold this cube down and kind of just make a mark with my finger so I know where to pick it up and start again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this Post-it right here, the length of this Post-it is about 5 centimeter cubes long. Now here's another way too. If you have a pencil or a pen handy, this might even get a better measurement for you. We're going to do the exact same thing, but now I'm going to mark it with my pen. You're going to mark where your object or your tool that you're measuring with leaves off so that you know where to start it when you continue. So we have 1, and I'm going to put a little mark right here. And I'm going to put this cube right where that mark is. So that was 1, 2, put my mark, 3, put my mark, line it up, 4, 5, and I'll put my other one right there, which will make 6. So do you see, as I was able to get closer to my measuring tool, we actually got a different measurement. Using the mark strategy, this Post-it was actually 6 centimeter cubes long. Let's try one more example using those strategies that I just taught you. First, I'm going to use my finger strategy and just kind of use my finger as a guide to mark and see how long this line is right here. So again, you're going to start at the very end of our line. Make sure it's lined up with that object. You want the closest possible. And I'm going to use my finger as a guide. So count with me, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So by using my finger and my measuring tool, that line was about 11 centimeter cubes long. Now let's use our marking guide with our pen or our pencil, whatever you have handy. And we're going to see about how close to this measurement is by using this guide. So I want to hear you nice and loud. Count with me. 1. Actually, I'll mark it down here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's go back and count our marks right here just to make sure we had the measurement correct. Count with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So by using my marker or your pen as a guide, this line was actually about 15 centimeter cubes long.
Today you learned how to use a centimeter cube to measure about how long different objects were.